Hello everyone, welcome back to another Monster of the Week video. I am the Dice Opossum, and today we're going to be talking about another build for the Wronged in Monster of the Week. In my previous character build video, I talked about a build for the Wronged where you are more of the aggro taker. Your job is to take harm and be in the middle of the fight. With this build, it's still going to be for the Wronged, the hunter where you have lost a loved one. A specific kind of monster took them from you, and you work with the keeper to establish what type of monster, who it was, and why you weren't able to save them. A lot of your connections with other hunters are either you saved them, they saved you, they mentored you, you go to them for help, they saw you go berserk. This character is a lot about just fighting constantly, but in this specific build, a build that I have lovingly named I Won't Lose You Too. Your job is to protect your fellow hunters from harm, but in a more get down Mr. President way, rather than taking the aggro and keeping the monster on you. For this build, you're going to take the rating line that gives you a +1 to cool, a +1 to weird, a +2 to tough, 0 charm, and -1 to sharp. You are, as with all of the Wronged builds, you start with I Know My Prey, which is the move that gives you a +1 ongoing bonus when investigating, pursuing, or fighting the breed of monster that caused your loss. And at level 1, you also get 2 other moves from your playbook. You're going to take Never Again, which is in combat, you may choose to protect someone without rolling, as if you had rolled a 10 or more, but you may not choose to suffer little harm. And you will take What Does Not Kill Me. If you have suffered harm in a fight, you get a +1 ongoing bonus until the fight is over. You may be tempted to take Safety first to get a +1 armor with the build, but it'll become obsolete at your first level up, so it's better to take What Does Not Kill Me to get the little bit of bonus you're gonna take for taking harm for your friends. Because when you protect them, you're not gonna be able to take little harm, so you are gonna take something. Getting that bonus for taking harm is a lot better than taking a little bit less harm. In much the same way, you might be tempted to take the DIY surgery move, which is a move that lets you heal yourself and your friends. But there's other moves and other playbooks that you can take as you level up that function as a better healer. DIY surgery could be better, and we're going to take a move from another playbook as we level with this build that'll do it better. With this build, you can choose to either keep Use Magic as your weird move, because there's good options there for utility and helping your teammates, or even healing your teammates. Or, because you have a -1 to sharp, you might take one of the information gathering weird moves. I would personally take Trust Your Gut, because it opens a lot of possibility for you to learn where you should go to keep people safe. You're kind of the guardian of the world with this build, and Trust Your Gut tells you where you should go next, or what you should do next. Kind of could hint at if someone might be in danger and you should go help them. Or it might even make it where you're the reason they were put in danger if you miss. So it can be really flavorful with how this build works. But for your first level up, you're going to select a move from another hunter's playbook. From the Spell Slinger, you're going to take Shield Spell. When you protect someone, you get 2 armor against any harm that's transferred to you. This does not stack with your other armor if you have any. This is kind of in the same vein as Berserk. This keeps you from taking harm when you use Never Again to protect someone. You can't pick to take little harm, but this gives you a 2 harm buffer. You might still take some from heavier hits because the big monsters can do 3 or 4 or even more harm with their attacks, but you really won't take much from the smaller minions. And this move not stacking with other armor is why you don't want to take armor to begin with. Or at level 3, you're going to want to take another move from another hunter's playbook. You need to decide if you want to take even less damage, or if you want to be a medic. You can't protect everyone, but you can patch them up afterward. So personally, at level 3, I would take from the professional, medic. You have a full first aid kit and the training to help people. When you do first aid, you roll cool, and on a 10 or more, the patient is stabilized and healed of 2 harm. On a 7 to 9, you choose 1. You either heal 2 harm, or you stabilize the injury. Which, remember, a move that's unstable, if you do something too risky, you risk taking 1 more harm. So, stabilizing a wound is important. And then if you miss, you cause an extra 1 harm. I like to think of it as like failing a skill check and healing someone in Dead by Daylight where you stab them and they scream. This move does take the place of regular first aid, which is you don't roll and you just heal 1 and stabilize an injury, but this lets you heal 2. And healing 2 can sometimes be the borderline of life and death. In my opinion, Medic is the best healing move in the game to use on yourself or others. Other hunters have moves that they can use to just heal themselves or heal others, but if you want to be the team healer and the protector, Medic is the way to go. If you don't want to be the medic, and you want to just reduce even more harm to yourself in the moment, take from the Searcher, Prepared to Defend. Even truth seekers need to fight sometimes. Whenever you suffer harm when you kick some ass or protect someone, you suffer 1 harm less. Because this is not armor, it stacks with shield spell, so whenever you protect someone, you're taking 3 less harm. Or you're just taking 1 less when you kick some ass. Can be a nice additional buffer if you find yourself still taking a lot of harm, or if someone else on your team already has medic or another healing move. As far as at level 4 and 5, it's kind of a toss-up between what you feel you might need. It's never a bad idea to take another +1 to tough to have some better kick some ass rolls, or a +1 to buff up your trust your gut or your use magic rolls. Or you can take 2 more wronged moves. All of these builds I talk about for the wronged follow a trend of Fervor is very good to take. It allows you to use tough for your manipulate someone instead of using the charm that has, in this build, a 0. So if you decide to take hunter moves from your playbook, take Fervor. When you manipulate someone, you roll tough instead of charm. You don't need berserk or DIY surgery with this build. So it's up to you if you want armor or a +1 to kick some ass. You might have picked up armor between mysteries, cause you can do that, especially if you have contacts or work for an organization, so it might not be as relevant. It's your choice between safety first, which is you have jury-rigged extra protection into your gear, giving you a +1 armor with a max of 2. Or tools matter. With your signature weapon, you get a +1 bonus to kick some ass, and this is the weapon that does 4 harm to monsters it targets. Fire to a Frankenstein, silver weapons to a werewolf, cold iron to the Fae, stuff like that. Once you hit your level 6, you open up advanced options, and you honestly have a lot of moves that are good to choose to advance here. This would be a build where taking both of the advance a move options and advance 4 moves altogether works really well. By this point, you'd have a +2 to cool, and then either a +3 or a +2 to weird, or maybe both. So it gives you a lot of options. If you advance Act Under Pressure, on a 12 or more, you rise above the pressure completely. You can do what you wanted in something extra, or do what you wanted to absolute perfection so that people will talk about it for years to come. If you advance help out on a 12 or more, you make the difference. The person you're helping acts as if they just rolled a 12 on their move, regardless of what they actually got. And if they've advanced that move, this could be really strong. You're trading a 12 for a 12. Advancing Kick Some Ass gets you where you roll a 12 or more. You can choose from the advanced options. You hold the advantage, giving all your friends a +1 forward in the fight. You can suffer no harm at all. Your attack can inflict double the harm, or your attack drives the enemy away in a rout. If you advance Manipulate someone, which you roll tough for with this build, once you take Fervor, on a 12 or more, you absolutely convince them. They do what you want right now. For a hunter, they have to act under pressure to resist your request, and if they do what you ask, they mark 1 experience and get a +1 ongoing bonus while doing what you asked. For a bystander, they do what you want right now, and they also become your ally, which you pick a type and motivation for. Maybe they're a guardian, their job is to protect you. Maybe their job is to be there for emotional support, or to assist you in making a decision. The keeper plays them. It's kind of just like having an NPC that follows you around all the time. They can die, and they can decide that like you manipulated them into doing something that they absolutely would never do. And they could either just leave, or they might become a threat to you if they feel like you wronged them in some way. If you advance Use Magic, on a 12 or more, you get magical power. You do what you wanted to do, and the keeper will often give you some extra benefit on top of that. Or, if you advance Trust Your Gut, you, on a 12 or more, get the usual 10 or more result, which is the keeper will tell you where you should go. Wherever that is, it'll be important, and you get a +1 ongoing on the way to that place. And they'll tell you about one important thing you should investigate further. I would personally take advancing Trust Your Gut and Kick Some Ass, help out, and then manipulate someone. If you didn't take Trust Your Gut, then advance Use Magic, along with Kick Some Ass. Giving your friends a +1 forward is always good. Suffering no harm at all is great, which you might be taking -3 harm anyway. Scaring the enemy away is always good, and doing double damage is always good. This build opens you up to a lot more possibility than my previous build where you were just kind of the barbarian running in and taking damage and surviving. With this one, you're jumping in front of the bullet, and you have magical protections that help you survive. You're still really good at kicking some ass, and with this, you're also really good at helping out, especially if you advance the move to give your friends that instant plus like 12 or more roll. This build is kind of more of a support, because you're gonna heal, you're gonna protect, and you're gonna help out. You're still not gonna be that good at investigate a mystery or read a bad situation, especially because in this one you're gonna have a -1 to sharp, where in the Berserker build you had a 0, so you weren't that bad. So with this build, it could be good to have someone, 1 or 2 people actually, that are good at investigating a mystery and reading a bad situation. You're the one in charge of protecting people and keeping them alive. You don't really need another medic. It could be good to have another help out character or another kick some ass character, protect someone character. So if you have a smaller group, having another use magic or an investigator or another support character would be in my top 3. Like allies for this team. I'm going to reiterate what I said in my last video as well. With the advanced leveling up options, there's 2 that I just don't like. Retire a hunter make a second hunter to play at the same time. Unless you are extremely experienced and the keeper is okay with it, do not make a second hunter. It'll just, especially if you have a bigger group, it'll bog down play. It'll make you, like, if nobody else picks it, it kind of makes you more of like the center of attention, because you're running 2 characters while your friends are running 1. And then retiring a hunter should not be locked behind level 6. It just shouldn't. If you don't like your build, if you want to play something else, talk to your keeper, and they should, if they are a good keeper, allow you to just make a new character. Keepers never just make someone play something they don't want to play for the sake of a story. Like, if it's an ongoing campaign, they retire at level 2. They don't like their character, they retire at level 2. It really doesn't impact your game as much as you might think. This game is entirely about improv. If you've built an entire story around a single hunter being a single archetype, that's kind of on you. You shouldn't have done that. Mostly because it's a team game, first of all. It should be built around all of the hunters. But also, that's kind of railroady, in a way. So if they want to retire before level 6, let them retire. There's nothing wrong with it. But on that note, that'll wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of my ongoing patrons for your support. If you want to support my work with these videos and future builds and more how to play videos, you can find my Patreon link in the description below. If you want to get Monster of the Week or the Tome of Mysteries books for yourself, you can find them at Evil Hat, which I will also put in the description. And thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give a like if you enjoyed and subscribe so you get further updates, further videos with more builds. There's a lot coming. There's a lot of hunters in this game and there's a lot of builds to talk about. So until next time, I am the Dice Opossum. If you've tried this build, let me know how it goes in the comments. If you have a build that you want me to talk about, or a potential build you want me to look at and maybe give you suggestions on, leave it in the comments. I would love to talk about builds for the community, rather than me just hyper-fixating and talking about builds that I come up with myself. But thank you so much for watching again. I will see you guys in the next video.